Alright, I want to talk about the non-makeup era Kiss albums. I've been wanting to talk about these albums for a long time. Am I looking good? The non-makeup era Kiss albums really have a fan base of their own, and I believe they tell an important story in the KISStory. There were some great albums. Before we talk about that, let's drop on back to 1979 and the Dynasty album. Kiss came out with Dynasty, had the song I Was Made for Loving You on it, a disco-ish thing. I loved it. I loved the song. There were some great songs on that album. It was the last album Peter Criss played on. He only played on one song on the album, his song, and then he was out. He was gone. The Dynasty album turned a lot of hardcore Kiss fans off because of I Was Made for Loving You. But again, some great songs on the album. They followed it up with Unmasked, which the cartoonish cover, probably not a good call. And the songs were pop and they were polished. And again, I thought there were some phenomenal songs on that album. And with a little harder edge, a little less pop polish, and they could have that could have been a great album. They followed that up, of course, with the disastrous The Elder, and that just about sunk Kiss's ship. So they came back with Creatures of the Night, a darker, heavier album. Ace Frehley was gone by this time, and they brought in Vinnie Vincent on guitar wearing Egyptian makeup. They had Eric Carr wearing the Fox makeup on drums. They did a great album. Creatures of the Night was a great album, but I think it was too little too late. So they made that drastic decision to do away with the Kiss makeup. The trademark makeup was out the door, and they came out with the first album without makeup, Lick It Up. The title track was simple, had a great hook, loved the song. Other songs on that album, And on the Eighth Day, Fits Like a Glove, Not for the Innocent, All Hell's Breaking Loose. There were just some great songs on that record. A nice start to the non-makeup era of albums, and I mean a nice start. I love it. They followed that up with Animalize. Gene was off in Hollywood. Paul produced the record. I felt like, Heaven's on Fire, you could tell, was written to be a hit. Very simple structure. It had a great hook, and it was a big hit. Another great song on the album was Thrills in the Night. Other than that, I felt like the songs were Frankenstein. I mean, just pieced together. And I did not like the album when it came out. Looking back on it now, I find a lot of great songs. Burn Bitch Burn, juvenile as can be, but it's fun. Murder in High Heels. I still love Heaven's on Fire and Thrills in the Night. I find a lot more that I like about Animalize now, and I can appreciate it for what it is and for the work that Paul put into the album. I can appreciate the album now, but I did not like it when it came out. They followed that up with Asylum. Here they were finding their footy. They were finding their footy. They were finding their footing in the 80s for sure. They had the 80s colors going on. Great song on the album, Tears Are Falling. It had All Night, Secretly Cruel, and Trial by Fire, which were a couple of cool Gene Simmons songs. King of the Mountain. Asylum was a really good album with a real 80s flavor. After the Lick It Up tour, Vinnie Vincent was out. Bruce Kulick was in, so Bruce was playing. I should have mentioned that Mark St. John played guitar on the Animalize album and developed a condition where he couldn't play, so Kulick filled in, and he continued on with Asylum, and he didn't try to play like Ace Frehley. He brought his own style, really put an 80s feel to the album. Asylum, I think, is where they really developed a whole fan base that probably could have cared less about the Kiss era with makeup. They would look back and say, oh, that band wore makeup, or this band wore makeup, I think Kiss were developing a whole new fan base in the 80s, and I think it really took hold with Asylum. Again, man, some good songs. They followed Asylum up with an album called Crazy Nights, full of great songs. Bang Bang You, Crazy Nights, When Your Walls Come Down, Reason to Live, My Way, Turn on the Night, Thief in the Night. Just some phenomenal songs. It was keyboard heavy. That was the problem. They were going for more of a radio friendly sound. If they would have made that guitar oriented, that could have been a really killer album. As it is, it was a great album. I love it even with the keyboards, but it could have benefited from some more guitar. Awesome songs. They followed that up with Hot in the Shade, an album I tend to overlook. A lot of people do. Little harder sound than the previous album. Great ballad, Forever, big hit. Hide Your Heart, written by Paul Stanley, was done by Ace Frehley and Molly Hatchet at the same time. Silver Spoon was on there. Cadillac Dreams. It was a good album. It really was. I don't think Kulick was very fond of it. I think he said it was more of a demo. The songs were more demo form, but I thought they were great, and I thought the album sounded good. I think it's underrated and overlooked. But not for everybody. Hot in the Shade. Okay. Revenge, man. They hit their stride. Revenge. Wow. The song I Just Wanna, Domino, Spit, Take It Off, Unholy. This album was just, and it had a great, another great ballad, not as big as Forever, but Every Time I Look at You. From a songwriting perspective, Kiss hit their stride. This is a great Kiss album. Revenge is a great Kiss album. Phenomenal, man. They were really on it with this album, and in full form. They followed that up with Carnival of Souls, which was their attempt at grunge. Not fond of the album, my least favorite of the non-makeup albums. Kiss was getting ready to reform with Ace Frehley and Peter Criss. They kind of abandoned the project. It was bootlegged a lot. They finally came out with it. But again, it's not one of my favorite albums. Not a lot to say about it. It has its fan base, but I wasn't real fond of it. But just, that's it. The albums, the non-makeup albums were, they still are great. Love them all, man. For even Carnival of Souls now, I can it's still my least favorite, but I can find some value in it. But all of those albums tell a story. The non-makeup albums, very important to Kiss as a whole, and there were great moments on all of them. So you really, you have to, and they had their own fan base. I mean, maybe a lot of hardcore Kiss fans could care less about the non-makeup albums. I think they had their own fan base. They tell their own story, and an important part of KISStory. So give it a try, man. Listen to them. Let's celebrate those albums Kiss made without makeup, man, because there was some good stuff there. Thanks for hanging out with me. Subscribe to the channel below, please. Please subscribe to my channel. I need to bring those subscribers up. If you like what you heard, what you hear, come on back. We're talking about songwriting. We're talking about great bands and songs that inspire us to write great songs. We're talking about music, so come on back. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, rock and roll.